Hello, Sacred Spiritual Healer here, introducing the Fairies Oracle by Froud. I am reading the meanings of some cards because the meanings in the creators, Froud's and Jessica Macbeth, are quite lengthy, and most of us readers actually channel or read them intuitively. So for the sake of the viewers, I thought by reading the actual meaning that was meant by Froud when he created the artwork, it would help the viewer have a better understanding or a different perspective when they're seeing these cards in readings. So I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you like it. Okay, so I'm going to show you first the ones that I pulled up, Spirit guided for each day, which ones he wanted read. So they also have meaning for today. When you're seeing these cards, they do still hold this meaning for you. They weren't just in order. Okay, so the first one up is the number 16, the Bridget Mother. And I'd ask that you, when you're seeing them, when I'm holding them up, if you see the card, look at how you would perceive it, or how you would think that card would be in a reading, such as positive, negative, what you think when you see it. Okay. Excuse me. And it's 59. 14. Oh, she's so adorable, the little maiden. I don't think you can see how beautiful that card is there, maybe. Okay. Solace. The Sage. The Singer of Chalice. Okay. So the first one back up is number 16, Bridget Mother. All right. All right. So the Bridget Mother: creativity, nurturing, productivity, intimacy, and sheltering. She is the bright mother of us all and knows that all life is a miracle. The Bridget Mother is consistently amazed at its perfection and imperfection. She rejoices in its being, sorrows for its growing pains, and exults in its success. This great lady is both Earth Mother and full bright moon, pregnant with the future of all growing things. She feeds us and provides us with air, water, shelter in an amazing, complex world. She sees it that we are challenged enough to grow, but not so much to be overwhelmed. We want more challenges than she provides. We have to give them to ourselves. The Bridget Mother is the guardian of family life, and she creates and holds a nurturing environment for all of us. She is the garden where vegetables, fruits, and herbs grow. Thus she sees holds the mysteries in ordinary processes of daily life. The bees making honey, the cream turning to butter, the birth of the baby and its growth, the blossom turning to fruit, and the wheat ripening. This lady has loving patience for natural processes, however slow. Her commitment to us is for life, her eternal life, not our ephemeral in the flesh lives. She is present in all of our deep and committed relationships, facilitating, nurturing, loving, creative, and giving. She fosters within us the kind of security that gives us the inner stability we need to explore and adventure out in the world and within our own psyche. She reminds us that there are times when we must put others first because their need is so great, but that in doing so we must not lose sight of our own needs in nurturing. One online group member sees her keeping an eye on things, making sure that we all do what we need to do. To another, she says, "You know me by the joy in your heart and the help in your head. You can have it all. All you have to do is ask." For a third, the key word about her is able. Able to carry, care, nurture, and enjoy. One last thing, people tend to project their own experiences with Mother and mothering on her. Sometimes this helps us to see her with more clarity, but often it creates muddled. Not all mothers are good and wise. The Bridget mother is. Each time we perform a compassionate act of nurturing, we become more like the Bridget mother, learning unconditional giving. When you see this card in your reading, when the Bridget mother is present in reading, she speaks of a time of fertility, creativity, and nurturing of ourselves or of others. She might indicate marriage or birth of a child or deepening of any kind of relationship. She also speaks of giving one's all to life, not holding back. She is like a cornucopia, pouring forth abundance. This may be a time to put the needs of others first, take care of yourself later. Patience may be needed for the process being discussed. Consider what you have. Acknowledge the people and things in your life, good or bad, and indifferent. This consideration is not to judge, approve, or reject, but merely to recognize what is present in your life. These are the present fulfillments, the things you have created for yourself, drawing upon the power of unity, and the singers, or not, as the case may be. Once you have looked clearly at what is present in your life, you may want to ask yourself what you want to change. Okay, number 59. Yeah, I can't read that. I'll have to tell you what that one is in a minute. Oh, I'll show you again. 59. Okay. The bodacious bodock. All right. Meddling, tampering, sabotage, helpful fixing, and order. Well, that's quite an array. Though bodock, or old man in Scots Gaelic, means well, he likes to fix things. He drops down chimneys at night and tidies up for you. Oh, he could do my laundry. If you don't have a chimney, he'll find another way in. You left a stack of papers on your desk, he'll file them for you, probably in someone else's desk. No one puts away the uneaten roast beef. He'll assume you don't want it and give it to the neighbor's dog. He is not the fairy who ties elf locks in your hair and makes bits of it stand out in an odd direction while you sleep. That is just a cousin of his. He has far more important work to do. The bodak is a meddler. He will tell you, if you catch him, that he means well. It's just the things never turn out quite as he expects them to. He feels that you should be grateful for his so-called help. Even while you clean the metaphorical eggs off the metaphorical wall, he is amazed when you are not grateful. Although his feelings are easily hurt by your lack of appreciation, he is persistent. He will just redouble his efforts to be helpful. Wow. The only way to discourage him is to tidy up your own loose ends and clutter. I'm sure you know people like this, the bodak. They helpfully answer your phone and take down the wrong message. Then they lose it and give it to the garbled verbal version. Worse yet, They give other people messages from you that are not exactly for even nearly what you said. On the rare occasion that they do pass something on accurately, it is either something you never meant to pass on, or it is said specifically to the wrong person. The Bodak also likes to gossip. The Bodak used to steal naughty children, but has eventually decided that they are not worth having. That's not nice. However, he does pinch them in their sleep sometimes and give them nightmares. It is said that one can keep him away by putting salt on the hearth, but don't you believe it. He is like an ant. The only way to really keep him away is to not have anything around that might attract him. Tidy up your clutter, physical, mental, and emotional. So when you find this card in your reading, someone somewhere is meddling, uninvited, in the issues. It may be you, it may be someone else. See if you can work out who it is and begin to untangle the messy web they have woven of confusion or disorder and the misunderstandings, so much worse than our own natural disorder. It will take great firmness to get this person to keep his sticky fingers out of your affairs, or you to keep yours out of the affairs of others. The amount of tact you use in sorting this out is up to you. But the Bodak type person doesn't usually notice hints. Remember, whoever it is says they mean well. They may even believe that. It is very hard to believe that the Bodak's bad results are always just an accident, as he insists. He may believe this, but we don't have to. The word sabotage comes to mind. If you don't want the Bodak hanging around looking for ways to help, make sure you don't leave things in the wrong place or dangle any loose ends. He might find some bodacious things to do with them. Hence, sabotage. Well, that wasn't a very nice card. I hope I never get that in a reading. But these messages are for Wednesday night, and Spirit did choose them, so someone may need to be cautious of a Bodak in their life. So this adorable little one is 14. Hopefully the Bodak didn't pinch her in her sleep. It's the maiden. Okay. The maiden. Auspicious beginnings, birth, growth, joy, and hope. From her crown of light to her star-jeweled toes, the maiden is pure joy. She's the face of the force that generates growth throughout all the worlds. When she smiles, troubles melt. Where she dances, flowers spring from the ground and burst into bloom. It is from the maiden that the pixies learn to dance that keep the other world turning, and probably our world too, for that matter. She's newly born every morning, and she carols her plangent song of growth for all beings in all the worlds. She sees the magic and the light in everything and takes endless delight in it. Yet, even though the maiden is so wonderful and powerful, she is a child, and she needs to be cared for, nurtured, and cherished. When she takes the form of a flower, someone must see that she gets enough water and sun. Whenever we look after something new or young, we are caring for the maiden. Whether she is in the form of a blossom, a sapling, a baby, or a new idea, she is, in turn, is likely to switch between joyfully and gratefully receiving such nurturing and insisting on an independence that she really isn't ready for. She knows deep within herself what she needs to do or become, and she moves towards this with the direction of a child. The maiden also has the simplicity and curiosity of a child. Seeing with unclouded eyes, she has an openness for life, love, new things, and new experiences. Every moment with her is an adventure, filled with playfulness and hope, innocence. She is awakening to learning about the world. Much of her learning comes with laughter and silly jokes, and she trusts what life gives her. Every time we allow ourselves to be filled with joy, we become more like the maiden. When you find this in a card, the maiden signifies new beginnings and growth. You couldn't ask for a more auspicious card than this if you are beginning something new. Spontaneity, joy, growth, acceleration, and a promise for the future are significant here. We must note also that in the early stages of any process, there is vulnerability and a need for protection, shelter, and guidance. But there is also a magical impetus towards beckoning growth. Trust the process, but take care of the details as well. The maiden is also the inner child who needs to be under the supervision of a competent inner adult in order for her to feel secure and loved. She's not happy when we spoil her. Consider what is growing in your life. Make a list of your hopes, dreams, plans. Look for the growth within you, and think about how you can cherish and nurture it. Bless this growth that you see around you. And on a side note, heal your inner child. This is cute. Alright, so we have Soulless, number 13. I like his eyes. He's very handsome. Okay. Number 13, Soulless, knowledge, consciousness, synthesis, spiritual empowerment. Soulless stands midway between the realm of the singers and that of manifest reality. The realms of fairies, this world, and the other realms and dimensions. The singers dwell in a cosmos without boundaries or differentiations, but we and the fairies live in the world where there are limitations to overcome and boundaries to identify and expand, which helps us to grow. When we don't know what we need or who to turn to, Soulless will help us if we ask. To an Oracle group member, Soulless said, "Allow the surface noise to fade. I am here waiting." How cool. Soulless encourages us to stand on our own feet, to recognize and utilize our own wisdom, to depend on our own strength, and to acknowledge the work with our own good qualities, using them as stepping stones to improve the less good. Yet, at the same time, Soulless recognizes that we cannot do everything alone, and helps us to make the connections and to have the insights that will help us to accept wisdom, energy, and assistance from other realms, especially the realms of the singers and the fairies. With fairies in the human spirit, Soulless sees us as arrows fired from a bow, choosing our own direction and soaring into undreamed of heights, empowered by trust in the creative life force. Okay. If you see this in a reading, Soulless is radiant, energizing, vitalizing. This presence in a reading often indicates that something new is being brought into being in our lives, partly through our own efforts and partly through the help we are receiving from other realms. Miracles may take place. Movement into the light is occurring. This is a time for taking action. Time is now. Passing on our blessings and learning, and for service given from a position of strength. I'm going to read this thing. In one sense, Fairy is a land of the past. where the spirit world and the human world once worked in closer harmony. In the fairies present, we experience a nostalgic yearning for that time, and for all the lost hope and all the lost dreams, all that once was or might have been, and may someday be again. Brian. The Sage, number 19. The Sage, wisdom, hidden knowledge, retreat, old age, and patience. The Sage is also the shaman. Not all wise men are shamans. Not all shamans are wise men, but this one is both. Power informed by wisdom, and wisdom made manifest by power. This is also the face of Father Time, and we see the colors of the seasons surrounding him. Sometimes he is old man of the mountain, the hermit who searches within for wisdom and understanding, and then is willing to share it with any true seekers who come to him. He, blind eye, enables him to look into the world of other worlds, other realms, and the wisdom buried deeply within each of us, where the singers dwell. He has reached a stage of life where he has let go of many of the activities of younger beings, retreated somewhat from the outer world of fairies, and has become more deeply immersed of the inner landscape of knowledge, the inner visions, contemplation, and spirit. On the exterior, he lives simply, almost austerely, but his inner world is filled with overflowing with richness. In order to pursue his studies more thoroughly, the sage has cultivated detachment. Some may see this as remoteness or coldness, but he is no less loving for it. The sage finds the inner connection between everything. He sees the connections, the relationships, and consequences between seemingly separate ideas, beings, and things. Love and compassion are the inevitable consequences of seeing truly, and this leads the sage to share his learnings with others. Like any other wise elder, he leads by gently teaching from his vast store of wisdom. When asked for his judgment about things, he is discriminating and generous-hearted. He turns a blind eye to punishment, feeling that what is needed is mercy and a way of teaching those who err so they will not make the same mistake again. The sage is consistently learning. While on one hand he values tradition and stability, he also understands and values the need for growth and change. He can't go for a walk or flight around the neighborhood without discovering something new and trying to see how it fits into the whole. He is always expanding his understanding of reality and deepening his awareness. As we develop patience and compassion intertwined, we begin to manifest the wisdom of the sage. If you find this in your reading, here we see wisdom and deep inner understanding. One of the keys of wisdom is to organize, integrate, and simplify one's thoughts. Complexity often leads to confusion. Simplicity is to be valued. This card signifies mental discipline informed by balanced learning and compassion. Tradition is valued, but appropriate change is accepted. The sage knows when to let go and when to move on. He knows when to retreat and think things over. He compassionately and wisely shares his knowledge with others, teaching by example as well as by perception. The scales of justice are balanced in the sage's hands. This card in a reading also signifies the need for deep consideration and refined judgment applied with compassion and mercy. Number 12, the singer of the chalice. Hang on 1 second. Alright, the singer of the chalice, number 12, trust, joy, patience, creativity, hope, and miracles. This singer holds the chalice from which a rainbow of energies pours like the richest wine. Trust, love, patience, these are things we think having or not having. We even give ourselves credit for having them, as if we made them ourselves, and yet they are natural energies of the cosmos, which flows through the chalice and through us when we are open to them, and flow around us when we are blocking them. People often think that love and hate are two sides of the same emotional coin, but this is not quite true. Love is not simply the absence of hate, nor is hate the absence of love. They are altogether different things, as can easily be seen. When we are angry, it wears us out and leaves us feeling like less than we are, less than we were. But when we love, it energizes us and we feel larger and richer than we were before that burst of love began flowing through us. This is because anger comes from within, burning from our own substance, while love is an energy that flows through us, enlightening and expanding us. The other energies from the chalice are also like this. Patience, for example, is not merely the absence of impatience. It is the joyful, loving willingness to wait for a process to bring us to where we want to be. It contains trust, love, and special qualities of expectant gratitude within. The same is true of trust. In fact, all of these wonderful feelings are energies that flow through us when we are open to them. They each feel much like the other, and right now, just at this moment as I write this to you, I am being given a glimpse of something wonderful. They really are all one thing, something we don't have a word for. We need a word that includes trust and love, compassion, healing, patience, and all the other feelings that enhances the enlightenment our being when we allow them to flow through us. I asked the fairies here if there is a fairy name for this rainbow blissful feeling. They nodded and smiled and shrugged. I get an unspoken feeling that is if you have the feeling you don't need a name, and anyone who hasn't had the feeling isn't going to understand a word for it. It's just one of those things like the mystical experience of ecstasy that we can talk about without understanding, or we can understand and not really explain to someone who hasn't already gotten it. So the fairies nod. Get it? Got it. I'd never seen this before, but now, just this moment, it is suddenly obvious, as the fairies show me, that this means that we don't have to learn how to open ourselves to each of them individually. We open our hearts and souls to unity, card 1. That energy can be focused through so many different lenses of feelings, like white light making rainbows through prisms. If we can learn to be open to any of the singers, then we can be open to them all. If we just remember to. I say all, knowing that it is a mighty big all. We have to do first, stop doing the things that close us down. Let go of attitudes, beliefs, and emotions that block this energy. Second, we need to actively invite these energies to flow through us, and all that it takes is asking. The thing is, the energy is already there. Our asking merely tells our own higher self and the singers that we on this conscious level are ready to accept it. It's like opening our arms to a hug. To hug someone or opening a door to let them in. Although the taste of contents of this chalice may seem bitter or strange at first, it always leaves a sweet, clean, sparkling taste in the mouth. If you find this in a reading, with the help of the singers of the chalice and of the fairies, you too can get this one feeling that is all good feeling in one. Unconditional love, trust, hope, healing, patience, and so on. Open is open. Be open. If you don't know how, ask. It is right there. Okay? So that's the 6th that we are reading for this evening. I hope you have a blessed day.